You have to understand the mind of a consumer at their time of need, and how do I stay top of mind so when they need me, they call me.
If you keep trying to trace back to the top of the funnel into your ROI, you're not gonna, you can't trace that.
You mentioned the funny stuff that we did at Baker Brothers. That's sticky. That sticks in your head.
If you had this bright, peak, terrible rap, and people would be like, have you seen that ugly electrical truck rolling down the street? And he goes, yeah. I go, they're talking about your company and electrical when they don't have an electrical problem. People don't remember information. They remember ideas wrapped in emotion, simplicity, and stories.
Welcome to the Kingdom Method. I'm Jeff Cox. This is Jimmie Dale, along with another great episode here. Today, we're going to talk about marketing. And I know this is a really one of your favorite subjects.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's rough out there now these days.
Oh, yeah.
It's trying to understand what works, what doesn't work. How do we capture the opportunities, the eyeballs?
Well, what's funny is back in the day, we used to get so mad about the yellow pages, but that was the only thing you did. Basically, a big marketing plan was, I got a double truck in the front of the yellow pages, and in Dallas, you could have 50 ads. And then the other thing was you might do mailers. And then that was kind of it. And we used to get so mad about it because the yellow page guys are getting us and everything and blah, blah, blah. Now it's like you can do billboards, radio, TV, digital, PPC, LSA, Google Business Page, Yelp. I mean, you can do all the different, there's so many things that I think that's one of the biggest challenges is sometimes we try to do a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just take your dollar and you kind of dilute your dollars in a way. And one of the things I think I always said about marketing was you need to put, there's a sweet spot. If you don't do enough, like if you do radio at the cheapest and you're going to do it weekends and after 7, man, no one's listening. But if you go ahead and push in for more, then all of a sudden you get drive times and you get frequency and you start reaching a lot of people and you start seeing the needle move. But then you try to put more in, and then you get less return. So there's a sweet spot in all these, and I think the biggest thing I can say is just don't sprinkle everything across at all. Just try to pick your poison and kind of dump into it, and get to that spot where you're maximizing it to the level you can. But to be honest, this industry right now, it's probably as hard as it's ever been. Probably the last 3 years. I mean, used to all it was about recruiting. If I could go get more guys, I get more market share, I get more sales.
Calls weren't a problem.
No, it wasn't a problem with calls, but that's something we probably ought to talk about today is like a little bit of the demand issue. And I mean, what's kind of your thoughts on that about, hey, why when you're I'll tell you, if you're a smaller company and you're growing, it's because you're underutilized. You had 6 trucks and you should have had 10.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, everyone else though, who was fully utilized, they're struggling to get more and more calls every year, and it's costing more and more, and their marketing spend's going up.
Yeah, we're learning how to do the same or more with less. And a lot of that is what you just said is like, well, I've got my money in this bucket, this bucket, this bucket. All right, which one's working, right? Yep. And that's the joke you used to always say is 50% of my advertising works. I just don't know which 50% works.
Yeah, I don't know which one.
In this day and age of information and ROI and all the reports that we can get, we might have a little bit more of a clue there. But there's different philosophies, right? And for me, it's the ever-growing, changing personalities of people. How to get them is evolved over time. Yeah, yellow pages, right? Homeowners would go to the yellow pages. Let me look at who's there first. Then it went to the internet searches and things of that nature. Now it's AI search and digital TV streaming and all this other stuff. So for me, I think it's about how do I maximize the opportunities I have because I know my money doesn't go as far. And so how do we, one, generate our own leads inside to kind of take some of that pressure off? But then how do I work within the rules that are constantly changing with LSA and Google and all these things?
Well, the other part too is that right now we all really need to maximize what we're doing and how we do it. And we need to think about things we didn't think about in the past because you can't just throw a TV ad up there and it just worked because you got it there. You need to make sure that you check a lot of boxes. But kind of talking to just the environment we're in right now where, 5 years ago, did you put anything out there? People would call you.
Yep.
Now what's happened is there's a lot of factors of why is it harder to get calls? What's happening that there's less, like there's less to have out there? less demand basically.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different theories out there. I've heard, oh, well, 15 years ago, that was when, the Great Recession happened and less permits were pulled. So less new homes were being built. So of course now it's time to change out those AC units, and there's less out there to do basically. I've also heard that, and I don't disagree with that, but also that we over harvested in 2020, like, when COVID happened and there was money available and everybody was sitting at home, all of a sudden those
pull forward demand.
Yeah, those little things that happen that you didn't notice because you're at work and you're running around all the time going crazy, putting kids from, soccer to dance. Now you're sitting at home and you're noticing, hey, this one room doesn't cool the way it should, or hey, it doesn't get to where it should, and then now it's really in front of you. And then there was availability of money. So people were actually actively going out and spending. And it was the best years we had probably were those 3 years after, when people were at home, working from home, doing all those things. Well, then it's kind of like, oh, we over harvested. And then I think
they stopped construction, right, during COVID. Everything sort of halted a little bit, and you had a little bit more of that stuff that happened during the recession started happening with COVID.
And I think that was there a little bit too. And then I think as well, you have to talk about, like, then the next thing, interest rates go way up. So we kind of go, well, we're not new construction, so that doesn't matter to us. But think about this. How many houses do we go to? Because I'm going to sell my house and my AC needs to be replaced. I need to go ahead and do it now.
Yeah.
And I need to replace my fixtures now. Hey, I need to make I need to spruce the house up a little bit. And then what about when the guy gets in that's new and goes, hey, I really want a new toilet or a new AC, or hey, I really like a different color of this. So there's all this work that was just not needed work, but it was like work just to do it at the timing. I think that just has gone away. I mean, the real estate market is terrible right now, and no one's moving. I mean, you have a 2.5% mortgage. Why are you going to move into a 6.5 or 7?
That's a great point.
You don't want to do that. I mean, now I know people that want to move because they go, I want to update my house, but they're not going to do it just because of the money. Then of late, the inflation happens. Like, you get huge inflation. The dollar doesn't go as far. Like $100,000 isn't what it was. And I think that's what a lot of people are having a hard time with. The $100,000, the $100,000 salary today was just 3 or 4 years ago, $75,000 salary. And so you go to it's funny, we didn't go to the grocery store much. And I guess we're always busy running around. So we'd eat out and do whatever. And you don't have the kids there. So it's not like we need to do those things. And so I remember we got this lake house. And so you're kind of out in the sticks. So you go, well, I need to buy some groceries. And I remember I was walking out with 2 bags of groceries going, this is $300? Like, really? I can't believe that. So
it's hard times, Jimmie.
Then the last one I think that's also prevalent is that with all the PE activity and all the, oh, dude, if you're a plumber and HVAC guy, you can be a millionaire. Mm-hmm. It's like a gold rush in a way. People are starting up businesses, guys that are thinking about it, are going in and pushing forward. I think there's a little bit of that, like a little saturation of the market as well. I mean, I think one of the biggest companies that I just saw a Facebook ad the other day that said this is one of the fastest growing companies in California, and the guy wasn't even in the trades. So there's people that are entering in that are like, it's like attractive for people that are professional and other things to jump into the trades because they're seeing these multiples and these sales happen. And you could go buy a company and literally just within 2 years make it like a company that may be worth like $500,000. You could make it worth like $10 million. Yeah. I mean, it's really true. And so that's I think some of the environment, and then with all the guys that are coming in from PE. I mean, man, they've got a lot of people just 24/7 working to figure out better marketing plans, really high level stuff, where that's what got us was that I just loved marketing. So because I had a natural affliction to go, hey, let's go look into this and find this early on, I had a more complex marketing plan, than most guys. Most guys were like, hey, I'm going to put my ad in the yellow pages. And then the next thing was, oh, hey, let's do this. It was unheard of to brand your company, like unheard of to go on TV, radio. Never, ever, ever. Every guy out there that was the guys that you would listen to, that were the guys that were the leaders in the industry would go, you're wasting your time with that because you're not. And I was like, and not literally what I did was there was a carpet company, Dalworth Carpet Cleaning. Mm-hmm. Growing up, heard their stuff, heard their jingle. I go, so if a carpet cleaning company can brand itself, why can't a plumbing company brand itself? And, fortunate enough to go to business school and graduate with an entrepreneurship degree. And that was in the marketing plan, was to brand your company. So I think I always consider there were two different kinds. Now everybody talks about the funnel. Like that's everybody's hot topic, the funnel. But just really honestly, I was always like, hey, look, there's what they call the top of the funnel. And I used to just call it production media. You produce something to push in front of the customer, whether it's direct mail, email campaign. I have to make something and push it in front of you. A TV ad, a billboard, that's all branding. I get at top of the funnel, get in front of my customer, brand this business. And what I did early on was I branded the business, and then you did a good enough job branding the business that people looked for your name. And I'll be honest, I don't think they always knew our name. They just saw a list of 3 names. They go, oh, I've heard of those guys before, and they picked us.
Well, let's talk about that, because we know it's tough now, and we've got to be dialed into all the data. But back when you bought the company, there was a recession, right? And a lot of people were pulling out of marketing, pulling their money back.
Yeah.
And when you purchased the company and then you hit with the recession, you said, hey, I'm going to push the gas pedal a little bit. I'm going to go in a little bit more than anybody was at that time.
Yeah, and I think business, like when you're trying to, I guess it's playing offense versus playing defense. I think defensively what these guys were doing was like, hey, it's going to be tougher next year, so let's pull. The 2 places everyone pulls back is marketing and inventory. I mean, all businesses. They'll pull back the marketing and they'll pull back their inventory. Well, as we were growing, we couldn't buy stuff because people didn't have a sewing machine. Like they didn't have this. And so I was going and buying where I normally bought it at a discount or wherever. I couldn't get it. So I bought it for what the normal price was because they had one at a point.
Yeah.
And so what happened is that company, had they had their inventory levels right, they'd have sold way more of those. But because they pulled back thinking, hey, we gotta pinch and save. And so my thought process, and I'll tell you, there's a paradox to it. So my thought process was, next year, we're in the recession. Next year, there's going to be a smaller piece of the plumbing pie. And the only way I could go get more market share was to invest the money into TV, radio, and get a bigger piece of that pie. And so I was kind of on the bet going, I'm pushing in to buy more. Now I will say that we had a company that was a consultant called the ESA, and basically they came in and they would say, hey, don't try to sell cranberry sauce during July. You sell it during Thanksgiving and Christmas, but you don't sell it in July. and their point was, hey, don't push money in when you're low. And so it's kind of a little bit of the opposite. But I think, after talking to the guy about it, he was like, well, yeah, but what you're saying is we're telling you in off season, like if you're sitting in October, don't put more money in your AC company to try to get more calls because there's no demand there. And he goes, but what you did was you just said, hey, look, I'm gonna push more money in and do a better job of the guys around me to grab more market share. So I just caution you, don't go trying to make October your best AC month, but push in, but do lean in and invest in when it makes sense. When you see people pulling back, if you'll push in, you have a better chance of grabbing more market share. And then that way you can build the business. And the first year we did that, we grew 38.5% that year.
Yeah.
So it was I won't say all my ideas were good, but that idea was good.
Well, before we got there though, you changed the logo, right? It was your dad had a logo. It was like a crosshairs on a pipe or something like that.
Yeah, it was old school. I mean, it's just like if you saw it, and so if somebody was I'll be honest, right now our old logo, it'd probably gain some notice because it would be so antiquated. People go, "What is that thing over there?"
That's true.
It was not. But so what happened was I'd gone to an ad agency and they were handling our TV and radio, and they go, "Yeah, we really want to redo this logo." So I was like, "Yeah, man, let's talk about it. Let's do it." And really the concept was we were a local brand. We probably had about 14 trucks at the time. And basically it was like, hey, we want to create a logo that looks like a national brand. We want to create this professional, clean logo that we could put on everything. And then also at the same time, we were doing the van wrap. So that was the other part. And I think a lot of these guys do that. There's a lot of companies out there like Congify, Kick Charge. I mean, there's a list of them, but they really don't want you to just go take your logo and put it on your new van wrap for, they want to do the whole thing, which does make a lot of sense because so many of us need to update what we're doing and make it better. But I think, talking about logos, I mean, you can tell some of the stories about the logo.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because when we were at Baker, I'll start there, and you had the logo and you had the trucks with the faucet on it, the faucet's in the logo at Baker Brothers, and the water was prevalent. That color that you picked, that color of blue, like you said, maybe not have been our favorite color of blue or your favorite color of blue, but it stood out, right?
Yeah, when they showed me that, I didn't like it at all. And basically, it's this kind of almost fluorescent blue, like it'd be like taking your truck and making it fluorescent yellow. And we were looking for everybody loves navy blue. I mean, I don't know but all us dudes, we love navy blue in our logo and our stuff. We want navy blue
and red and white.
Yeah, and red and white. So America, right? So that's what we want to do. And so what's funny is that's kind of where I was going with it initially. And I showed them some mock-ups that we had done, and they go, and by the way, no one was wrapping vans back then too. And so I want to say that too. You need to figure out how to be the first guy in, because when we used to see, now when you wrap, everybody's van's wrapped. But back then, no one wrapped vans. And so if you had your van wrap, I mean, there was only one company in Dallas, major market, that even did that.
Right.
So you had to like really get these guys that were signs that you had to get them to ship it into you and stuff. It was kind of crazy back then. But what happened was they come with that blue, and I didn't really like it. And they were just like, well, it's really bright, and we think it's going to look really good, and it's bright. And so I think one of the things that we have to get out of our heads is, do I like it? And you're like, it doesn't really matter if you like it or if it looks cool. What matters is, do people notice it?
Yeah.
And I will tell you, those trucks, you can see them a mile away. Like I'll drive down the highway, and I can a mile away on the other side see one coming. And I remember right after they got the truck done, I just went, and you saw it live. I go, okay, we made the right decision here.
Yeah, and the way the sun bounced off of it made it even brighter, right?
Yeah, I was just like, man, that's all we want, is we want to notice it. I remember, Gus was on our show, and Gus Antos he did TV about the same time we did. And he was like, man, I'm getting all these complaints. And I said, man, learn something from Jerry Jones. And he goes, what's that? I go, man, any publicity is good publicity. He goes, what? He goes, well, these guys we're in the house, and they're complaining about our commercial. I said, you're in their house. I said, so what if you had the ugliest wrap ever? If you had this bright pink, terrible wrap, and people would be like, have you seen that ugly electrical truck rolling down the street? And he goes, yeah. I go, they're talking about your company in electrical when they don't have an electrical problem. So I said, there's a part, I used to joke around about Jerry Jones. I go, do you think he got Terrell Owens to win a Super Bowl? Or do you think he had Terrell Owens because I might win a Super Bowl, but he's such an S show that, dude, I mean, I remember when that had an attempt, and it was like in the halftime, I think with the NFC Championship. And instead of talking about the two teams that are playing in the Super Bowl and the two other teams, they're going, oh man, on the Cowboys, this happened to Terrell. I mean, it was almost the whole thing. And I was laughing. I was like, he did it again, man.
Like a soap opera, right? So there's always something to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, he did it again. He got himself injected at a place that he's not even a participant. And I said, so I think that's something we have to think about is, don't think about when you look at it, do I like it? Think about when you look at it, will people notice it? Is it memorable? Because our issue now is that we're trying to grab mind share of people.
Yeah.
And I think right now we're probably exposed to more than we ever been exposed to in the history of the world. Think about just your Facebook, Instagram, social media, all the ads, everything you see there. You'll just see ad after ad after ad on your phone. I mean, we're exposed to so many different brands that it's really hard for us to grab that mind share, and that's exactly what we have to do. We have to figure out a way to get people to notice us above the other companies, and that's kind of like a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because, you talked about just like shifting and from Yellow Pages and other things and moving to TV. You weren't the first to do it, but one of the first companies at that level to do it. Then to wrap trucks, first one to really do it, and then when we added HVAC. The time was like, what do we do with the truck wrap? Do we leave it the same? Do we make small changes? We considered a lot of different things, like put the snowflake instead of a faucet in the Baker Brothers logo.
Yeah.
What did we put on the side of the truck?
That was Bill. Bill came up with that, and he brought it in, and it looked good.
Yeah.
But then I was like, Bill, I've already spent millions of dollars for that logo to have that faucet there, and people recognize that faucet in the logo. And I know that, and he goes, well, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you have a faucet on an AC truck? And I go, yeah, I mean, that's true, Bill, but that's the logo we put all the money into. And I go, and I'll be honest, like Coca-Cola changes theirs, I guess. Like when they have Coca-Cola, it's just the white one. And if they have Coke Zero, it has a little black outline. Yeah. If it's like, I think there's some of that happens if you stay with it, but it is the same lettering. Yeah. It's the same Coca-Cola lettering that you automatically recognize. And so I was pretty just persistent on, hey, no, we've put too much money in this to keep it the same. And, kind of talking about logos, everybody's favorite thing to do is to take your logo and go, ooh, this is a blue shirt. It's not really going to, that blue's not going to show up in the logo. And you're like, and I remember, having these discussions with guys all the time. I go, the embroiderer or the silk screener will always try to change the color of your lettering so that it pops on the shirt more. But I said, dude, you just can't do that. Yeah. It has to say the same. It has to be exactly the same. See, we're fighting for mind share, remember? And if I keep changing my logo, I'm introducing a different brand, even though it's different colors. And I will say it was funny. I saw that article about that guy in, California that was like, ramped his business the fastest ever. And his truck was all wrapped. Looked great, man. It was awesome. And then I looked at of course, on his hat and his shirt, he had the logo in all white when his logo wasn't white on the truck. And I go, see, it's just everyone makes that mistake because that's what those guys try to get you to do. And I will be honest, I think you did this at Berkey's, one of the best things I think you could do to the logo is almost make it like, a patch, or what do they call it? Where there's a border on it. Yeah, it's a billboard. It's almost like a small billboard, but it's a patch. It's a badge. Yeah, a badge. Yeah, so it's a badge now. So if like, with the Berkey's badge, it's got a black outline. Mm-hmm. So for instance, it's red with a black outline, white lettering. So if I put it on a red shirt, the black outline still makes it pop. Yeah. If I put it on a black shirt, the red, then all of a sudden I see the red outline and it still works. So that's kind of, I think, what the new thing, and I've noticed a lot of these companies are doing that a lot of the new agency companies are coming in with new logos, and they're making that kind of almost badge or outline effect. So that way you can use it. So even if you had a current logo that you love and you kept having that color problem, man, I think if you just outline it in another color, if that was the simplest thing you do, it wouldn't just drastically change your logo, but at least you could put it on everything and keep it the same color. No matter what the background is, it could always be the same color. So that's a little hint to go, if I can put this logo on any hat, any shirt, anything, like on a piece of paper, on the website, any kind of background, and it still comes out, that's great. Because the old Berkey's logo was funny. I used to talk to the marketing director, Mike, and shout out Mike, love Mike. Mike Myers. And and not the Saturday Night Live Mike Myers. No, that's still funny, but not that funny. No, barely funny. So anyway, Mike would, Mike, they had it didn't have that badge. And so what they were doing is in the TV spots, it was always across these cabinets where this lady was talking in the kitchen, and there's across the cabinets and the backsplash. So it kind of was transparent, so you didn't see it. And so I was like, man, y'all got to do something, or put it somewhere where there's just a background so you could pop. So that's a little creative thing that people go, I don't know if that matters, but the logo's up there the whole time, and the whole point is we're trying to get you to remember our logo, our name. Yep. So everything we do to do that is important. But historically, what happened, it's funny, when Gus and I met, that's how we met, was we were talking about marketing, and Gus goes, yeah, I've noticed you do a bunch of radio spots. Oh yeah, and he goes, and this was on the inception of pay-per-click, and people were doing SEO, but that was it. And then it was on inception, this is how long ago it was, when people started doing PPC. And he goes, man, I'm doing some stuff, and he was doing SEO stuff and some PP stuff. He goes, I think they would help you out. And he goes, man, you're doing this production media stuff. Hey, let's get together and talk, and let's you tell me what you know about that, and then I'll tell you what I know about this. And and we both really benefited from that one breakfast and conversation. Years to come we did, but at that moment we did, about the advertising, because I really wasn't doing that. This is still Yellow Page days too, by the way. So when we started doing that, man, we both ramped and both started doing well. And, but yeah, I think that was kind of a big history of Baker Brothers was, okay, first let's get our logo right, get our van wrap right. Let's start putting our, the other part that was funny was, oh yeah, back then we had work orders. Yeah. And it was like everybody, the printer was like, oh man, if you do 3-color, it's gosh,
be expensive.
It's really expensive. It'd be like 15% more. Now I told our guys, I go, guys, look, I mean, you have to protect your logo. And I said, guys, look, we're not putting the logo on there black and white.
Yeah.
We're not putting the logo on there 1 color. Our logo has 3 colors. And I guess we'll just pay 15% more for all of our freaking invoices. But I said, we will not put our logo anywhere that it's not all the colors in there. Mm-hmm. And if you guys ever see our logo somewhere else, that's not me. I would have nothing to do with that. And I see it now today. They'll put it on there in white and all that. I'm like, ugh, makes me
Well,
cringe.
I'll be honest with you. So that was the first lesson I learned from you about that when I brought some shirts in that had the logos, and the faucet was the color of the shirt and the logo was white. And you're like, what are you doing? What is this? Yeah, that was.
We have to be, as the owner. Yeah. You have to be the protector of the brand. And so what was funny? How we came about a lot of the branding stuff and why I was kind of militant about it was because when we would go into people's homes, we would usually be the second company in because we work for insurance companies, and we're trying to figure out, did the other company know how to do slab leaks and things like that? Because there weren't a lot of guys who knew how to locate. And so we'd always go, hey, do you know what the company name was? And if they said certain companies, go, okay, they're probably on. If it was certain companies, go, no, they're not. They never knew the company. You know who they always knew? They knew the dude's name. Joe was here, and man, he was great. I go, well, and they would have to always go get the work order to go get it. So I'm sitting there laughing because what did Joe do? Well, Joe wore his Eastern Sun Supply hat that was camo, and then he would wear he didn't have the company name on his body, and the company name didn't pop off the work order because it was all 1 color.
It all blended in.
All blended in. So I had no idea who the company was, and so I noticed that so over the years I go, man, we've got to do something to do that. So. And you probably remember this. I mean, I would let you go if you didn't wear the right hat. I'd be like, you can wear, if you want to wear a hat, you will wear a Baker Brothers hat.
That's right.
Or you will not wear a hat. But there's no in between. I don't care about the San Francisco 49ers. I don't care about your favorite
No one really does, though, really.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't care about your favorite baseball team or your favorite, plows. Or, hey, this is my hunting cap. Yeah. I go, then go hunting in it. But don't go on a Baker Brothers job without a Baker Brothers hat. I remember a story. It was funny. This guy was like, like everybody, they think they can get around the rules or whatever. And I told him, I was like, hey, you wear this hat? And he goes, well, this is my favorite hat. And I go, well, then wear your favorite hat when you go home. But if you're going to work at Baker Brothers, you're going to wear a hat in the house, you need to wear a Baker Brothers hat. And so about 2 days later, he pulls up into the breezeway, and I see him switch his hat, and he left it on the windshield. And he switches his hat to come in to clock out. And I just go, okay, I gave you a shot, but that's it. And they go, what? I go, no, that's it. We're done. And he goes, well, dude, I told you what to do and you didn't do it. It's real simple, man.
Yeah.
And I told everybody that story too in the whole shop, because I was like, hey man, it's like that. You've got to do this because this is our livelihood. We need to brand ourselves so that you guys have job security. So I think it's something that you guys you have to be militant about it. You have to be you are the guy. And you think about how much money, everybody goes, oh my God, I spend so much money every month on advertising. Well, add that up for the last 5 years and then go, what hat should they wear in there? And you'll go, it's ours. And should anybody mess with our colors on our logo? 100% not. You do not mess with the colors. You stick with the same logo. I mean, and if you want to change your logo, do change it, but then you stick to it. If they go in there and just revamp your whole thing and you go, I don't know if I really like that. I don't know if I like the cartoon bear on the side of my van. Well, I want to tell you guys something. You might not like the cartoon mascot, and you might not be that dude that's all Disney World and silly, but here's the deal. Guess who likes the cartoon bear on the side? The women, I guess, because every major company that I see, one of the biggest changes one of the big companies make, they put them a little mascot on there. It's a little cartoon guy. And I see some of these, like that fastest growing company out there, guess what they have? They got a little guy on the side of their truck. There's some mascot they put in there because there's probably some warm, fuzzy feeling. Yeah. I want to go, oh, look, that's cute. And then they go, oh, well, that makes me feel comfortable. I will tell you how many funny people do you not trust? Like, I mean, there's
That's
not,
true.
I might not trust you to get it done or something, but I don't know that I don't feel like you're going to manipulate me or you're going to do something to me. So I think there's some connection there, but there are these things that happen in our heart and the way we are as a customer that go, man, I feel a certain way when I see that. And I go, and you may go, I hate that.
Yeah.
But would you put a van out that you hate if you got more customers, if you got more calls?
If you're serious about it, right? And circling back to the logo thing, I think it's interesting to point out, it's like when the thing that we changed on the AC trucks at Baker Brothers is we put the polar bear on the side versus the faucet.
Yep.
And the blue was slightly lighter color, and we had ice versus water.
Yep.
But the logo, the Baker Brothers logo with the blue square and the white faucet didn't change.
Yep.
And then later when we added electrical, we did the same thing. It's a light bulb with lightning instead of water and ice, but it's the Baker Brothers logo right there. You're associating this logo with now this is what we do.
And I think the thing you have to be careful about, and it can happen even with design or anything else, the biggest thing that everybody did wrong was they put too much stuff on their truck. It was like this encyclopedia of everything I ever did.
It's NASCAR.
Yeah, and that's not as bad now, but it's like, oh, I got to put my number on there. How many people write down the number on your truck? That's a really interesting thought. The website, I feel like there's a lot more people likely to use your website for sure. But even some of the designs, like if the design gets too intricate, like there's too many stripes or just whatever, it can lose. You want people just to remember and just that logo be the centerpiece and be like, it needs to be big, it needs to be bold, it needs to be something that your eye goes to and you go, okay, and there's just some recollection in your mind that logo exists. And so I think that like you got to be careful about getting too cute. But you told me a story too about that you reminded me of. You remember we put that we're going to do Arctic animals for the
different Arctic animals.
Yeah, we're going to do a penguin on one, a polar bear on the other, and I kind of bought in the idea. I was like, oh, and then I remembered. I go, whoa, we're going to be putting too many brand differentials up there. And I go, let's just put the polar bear on there, and every truck will have the polar bear, and that way. And then we all get too literal too. I love this too. It's like the guys go, well, I can't take that truck with the faucet on it because I'm an AC, and if I pull up, I go, they don't care. If you come up in the faucet truck and say, hey, I'm here to fix your AC, I don't think that they think, well, only a plumber could drive that truck. So sometimes I think too, we also get too literal about what we see on the truck, but and how important it is. But really to the customer, what we need to do is we need to stay consistent. We need to keep putting the same things in front of them over and over and over again. And I think that's a mistake people make. They change up too much, they change look and feel too much. And if you do it too much, then you get brand confusion. And that can happen anyway. Like, here's one of the things that is the most amazing thing that I've tested over and over again that I can't even believe it's true. But, we all go, well, these are our customers. These are ours. I go, well, they're yours until you're not available to them. And then there's someone else's. But I said, they would type in Baker Brothers Plumbing, hit enter on Google. If Roto-Rooter showed up at the top, they pick Roto-Rooter. And I go, you typed in Baker Brothers, but whatever comes to the top, you just hit what's at the top. And so I thought that was bull. There's no way, and you guys are probably thinking the same thing. There's no way that's even true. Here's the problem. I've tested it several times. And every time, and our brand, because we're Plumbing Strong, if our branded name always increased plumbing calls over everything else. And if I pull down the dollars on that branding, I mean, the next day or the day after, we saw a depression in plumbing calls. And I'll never forget one time they changed it without telling us. And I'm like, what is going on, man? We were killing it. And then all of a sudden, man, it's so slow. I mean, what's happening? Well, they had done that without our knowledge. And I go, oh, no, turn that back on. And as soon as they turned it on, we went right back up again. Yeah. So there is a part about you need to understand that as invested as we are into our own brand and we think our customer base is invested in us, that they just aren't. And more now, the younger people, I will be honest, I think older people were very brand specific on things. Like, I mean, how many times do you really hear the Chevy Ford argument? I mean, we may be aging ourselves because right now I don't hear anybody talking about Chevy Ford argument or Dodge or whoever. They're like, well, we'll use whatever is the best. I think younger people now, they don't get stuck on a brand. They get stuck on experience. They get stuck on the what happened and the value of what you actually did versus what you did in the past. And so I think that's something we have to always be careful of and protect our brand is like we need to make sure that experience in the home's great. But understand just because you brand yourself and people use you doesn't mean they'll always use you now. And the younger these guys get, the more likely they are not to be so brand specific and be more, I need help now, someone get here. And I think that's more important. I mean, everybody wants to use a good brand.
Right.
But that's the other part of it is there's a lot of good brands out there. There used to be where there'd only be like one or two.
It's the most competitive market in the United States for what we do. This Dallas-Fort Worth is the most competitive market.
Yeah. I mean, we're top five market in the U.S. And so one of the things is that's what I'm saying. You have to be great. You can't be okay. You need to make sure that you're checking all the boxes. And if you think that you can do it by yourself or that you go, oh, my daughter just graduated from school with a management degree, let's make her the marketing person. It's like, man, it's just there's experts out there that we need to lean into, guys that know all the, how to allocate your money, do all those things. But I'll be honest, like the best thing we ever did, hiring that agency to help us with our branding and help us with the logo is one of the best things we ever did. And I'll be honest, like now when I do a new business or something, I use chat. And I run a bunch of stuff by chat, even for unique selling propositions. Like, hey, what's the one liner I should put at the bottom of the truck or whatever?
Yeah,
those it's better than it's ever been, and getting better every day. Oh yeah. And even if you're wanting to wrap your truck or something, if you put in descriptors, I mean, it'll actually give you a pretty decent one that you can do. Now the wrap guys hate it because that's a pixelated picture. It's not perfect, and they have to recreate whatever it is. If you decide you want to put a water slide on it, they'll be, oh my God, I got to make a water slide out of my stuff. And so it's just, but it is interesting how much you can do and how now with Chad and some of those other app tools, I mean, you could write a radio script that's amazing. I mean, you could really do some stuff that's really cool, fast. But I mean, still though, there is an expertise and there's some stuff that, needs to happen. But
I think that last thing I want to say about the branding and logo is when I got to Berkey's, we did a rebrand, right? And you actually helped with that. And so did Mike Myers and Alan O'Neill. And we're sitting here going, the old Berkey's logo was a slanted font. It was just a red and it was navy and white, like you just said, red, navy, and white, right? And so, and internally they brought in some gray with the uniforms. When we got there, we were deciding on colors. We decided to stay red, and it popped. It wasn't red, but it was orangey red, and it popped. And we went with the badge, billboard, Hollywood style logo. And I was looking for something to put next to the Berkey's. Like you have the square and the faucet, and I'm like, well, what can we identify? And we had it's going to be a circle. What can we go in there? And you suggested we put the Wrench Group logo in the circle, and I had to check with marketing with Wrench with Megan and go, hey, can you approve this? Can I use the Wrench logo to put in there? And man, it's been great, and we get a lot of compliments on the colors and that logo, and it's been 6 years now in the marketplace, and people forget about what the old logo was, right? Yeah. And there's no really much trace of that in existence of the organization. But when you're talking about rebranding, use the resources. We were also using the barbershop at that time. Yeah. And so they had some input, and I had help. They had help give some input on what that. But you helped me with that idea, and it took off running, right? And then we couldn't get those old trucks wrapped fast enough. And a guy who worked there in the previous administration, I think he slow rolled that on purpose. He had a little bit of nostalgia.
Yeah, he was like, oh no, yeah, I love the other one. Yeah, but I will tell you, there's always a why. And so, like, I want to tell you guys that's something too. Man, don't just go, oh, I like the wrench logo better. But there was a why to that. And the why was I could look and see that wrench and go, oh, you do something mechanical, right? I mean, it matches up with home service. Like there's a connection. Hey, that faucet, oh, that has to do with plumbing. Yeah. So I think that's kind of what, you need to make sure you incorporate, because I have seen some really good brand, like that really look cool and everything else. But I mean, even the little cartoon guy, them putting a wrench in the guy's hand, it goes, oh, okay, you do a repair of some kind, and then there's a connection versus like, oh, are you a courier service? Are you like, what are you? But just always understand, like, look at it and go, and kind of like what Pastor Steve said, fire yourself. Yeah. Act like you don't think about plumbing, AC, and electric all day, and then look at it and go, would I know? There's a local company called Can Man here, in Rockwall Heath area. I think they're all over Dallas, but they clean trash cans, which is a new thing. You have to teach people like, hey, when you go to throw your trash, those big plastic containers, you don't have to throw up every time. They'll come and like wash them. And I'm telling you, I will never do without that service, period.
It's something you don't think about.
No, but their name's Can Man, which you wouldn't on its own, by itself, wouldn't go, oh, I know what that is. But when you say Can Man, and then you see the little plastic green container and bubbles coming out of you. Oh, they clean. You got that they clean trash cans. That's what's brilliant about. I think Ethos, that HC Ethos. Travis used to work in Milestone, has that Ethos company, and I think they created that van wrap. But there's a part too. I think I heard the Steve Schultz, who is the dad of the kid that Cade that has it. But Steve was like, yeah, they're thinking about rebranding. I'm thinking, well, because they're doing termites, they're doing other stuff, like they're doing pest control. And I go, I don't know, man. I mean, you've
been there, right?
Yeah, I mean, but it's like you should put that you do it, and it should be apparent that you do it. But
your name's Can Man.
But don't want to change the whole thing. And then if I take away the visual of that can with soap suds, and I don't remember your initial cash cow business, but even though that one could become your cash cow business, but I think they have to just figure out some way to incorporate the same look and feel, but then have that. So I think it's just one of those things that, for me, that you just don't have to get too literal because people don't care that much.
Yeah.
They really don't. And so it's like, so when I look, could I do something else on the truck that kind of lends itself to that? I mean, it's just like, I don't want to just flip the apple cart over. Now, if you haven't done anything in years, and I'll be honest, what was funny is one of the guys said something about, I think it was Milestone and Baker's. They go, man, y'all got that really cool old-fashioned look. I forget how old I am because that was brand new. That was like evolutionary back in 2003. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Now I'm like the old dude that's like holding on to the, the old man with the wrench, in his hand and the old drawing and the sewer machine or whatever on the truck. I go, I'm that dude now. And I was laughing. I said, well, but you got to keep up with the times. You got to freshen it up. And
well, we went through an evolution there at Baker. I mean, when you got me involved in marketing, it was Yellow Pages.
Yeah.
And then, now it's AI, it's Google LSA, it's algorithms, it's all of these things that it's just so much more complicated now than it was before. We knew if we increased this on TV or radio, we got more calls.
Yep.
You can't say that anymore because the way people watch TV's changed, the way they listen to radio has changed, streaming and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, do people listen to radio? Like, that was my whole thing, too, because, I mean, as soon as Bluetooth came out, well, initially it comes out, and it's not in every car. But it's in every car. If you get the smallest, it's going to have tires and AC, and it's going to have Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And so when you jump in your car, it automatically syncs to your podcast, playlist, whatever. How many times you go there? And I loved, we both loved listening to sports radio.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved listening to The Ticket.
Shout out to The Ticket.
Yeah, loved them. And The Ticket helped us get where we are today.
Yeah.
But I love listening to them, and I have to make myself turn them on. It's not just this automatic thing that happened anymore. I have to think about it. I probably actually stream it more on my computer than I do in my car like what I used to.
The habits have changed.
And yeah, nobody's in their garage like back in the old days, the old transistor radio, working out in their garage, put the radio on. I mean, we have Bluetooth speakers. I mean, you start thinking about this thing that's happened about how we listen to things, how we take in media, and even the way we take in TV and stuff. Like, there's not a lot of people. The ratings have to be going down a little bit in TV. Yeah. I think you can still put your, I think I'd anchor in the news for sure, because I think people still listen to local news and do that stuff.
Live
sports. But man, you're gonna stream stuff. Like, I even watched Law and Order on the freaking stream deal and just sit there and watch it. But
you said Law and Order?
Law and Order, okay. Yeah. That's how old I am too.
No,
I think I've seen all of them too. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, but you stream shows and you watch shows, and so then you're like, hey, does OTT work? How does OTT work? And you're going, okay, so who doesn't pay for the subscriptions? For all the little $5 and $10 subscriptions, who doesn't pay for that, right? And you're like, well, I think all the people with money and that are over 50 and stuff, who are probably our customer base, they probably pay not to see that.
But there's a caveat now. If it's a live streaming event, you don't get past the commercials.
Yes.
They show the commercials.
They've started doing that. So they figured out that that's not happening. That's right. So they start blocking out on us. Like,
that's right.
You know, Amazon will just, if it flips to the next show, it'll go to the one with the commercials in it.
Yes, it will.
But that's kind of, but you know, it does work. It's there. I mean, it's definitely there. But I think, you know, years ago, it was harder to work.
Yep.
You know, because like I said, and I remember making fun of my daughter the other day. We were watching some show and she was like, and we're sitting around, she's, you know, 28 or whatever, and we're watching the show. And all of a sudden I go, really? You're not going to pay the $4.99 like that? I was giving her a hard time. And she was like, Dad, you know, I don't make as much. I go, I know, but I mean, my gosh, this is so terrible. But it is something we have to figure out how do we get to people and how do we get to them the most cost-effective way. And, you know, we kind of talked too a little bit about, you know, ROI and people trying to measure. There is some really incredible things, I think, on the digital side of things.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, that top of the funnel was all the production type stuff. Now let's talk at the bottom of the funnel. That's where I'm going to go look for you. Like, hey, where do I go search you out? Because I need your service. So now I'm searching for you. You're not just coming my way.
Dialed in, specific.
Some of the top of the funnel stuff can make me call you or look at your website and go do that for sure. But then I need you. I just go, I need a plumber. Who do I go in? And you go search, right? And then you're going to pick from the search list, wherever it is. So that bottom up. But what's cool about digital is you can get pretty finite in the bottom of the funnel, like which page they went to, where they did it. And, you know,
which type of specific customer are you trying to target and those kinds of things.
Yeah. And even in Facebook, you can do Facebook ads and put a
social media is really changed a lot with it.
You never could get a call from social media.
Yeah.
Now you actually can.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of these young guys are going. They're using Facebook and they actually have like ads where you can, you know, unless I get a call, I don't have to pay through Facebook. Now the problem is you have to put a lot of background coding in there because there are these robots out there that will call you. And you'll owe them $1 million. You'll listen to all the calls, and not one of them's the actual person. So the thing is, you have to be. That is one of the things you need to be careful of. And a lot of people's websites, what I've learned from Tyner and the Recreate guys, is there's a lot. And some of the big companies have websites that are getting hit by some of these bots. And there's things you can do to alleviate that, so that you actually see, like you go, man, I'm getting like 200,000 views. I'm not converting well. And it's like, well, yeah, they're a bunch of bots like hitting your site. So you have to be careful about that. But I will say that, you know, there's a lot going on now. And I think I think we're on an evolution of like what happened back with, overnight nearly Yellow Pages went away.
That's right.
And we are on that same evolution now. PPC and LSA are way too high. There's a demand problem, so everybody's paying more. It's a market.
Yep.
People are paying more for it, and so people are putting hundreds of $1,000s a month into those things. And if you're a small guy and you're sitting there with your $10,000 or $5,000 a month, dude, you know, you took a knife to a gunfight. That's what you did.
Right.
You know, you're getting your butt whipped.
I know. I feel that way with Berkey's going against Baker. Baker's got double the budget, and we're over here just fighting to survive.
Well, and I will tell you about how important the branding is, because that did come up when we were, you know, dealing with we had the same PPC guy, and he goes, man, if Baker turns something on, because we had put millions and millions of dollars into our branding side. And Berkey spent some, but not near as much. And he goes, man, if I turn something on for you guys, he goes, it's 5 times everyone else that I work with. He goes, y'all have just done so much branding that it just goes wildfire. So I will tell you, those dollars are not wasted. If you billboards and all that kind of stuff, man, you got to stick with it. And don't ever try to put those ads out or a billboard out and think that you need 3 months. You need to have 3 months. If you don't do it for 3 months, you're wasting your time. Just go, I'm going to do this. Everybody knows it works. Put it out there for a year. Just earmark it and let it go. If you keep trying to trace back to the top of the funnel into your ROI, you're not going to, you can't trace that. Now, the Facebook ads, like I said, I can put a pixel on it and I can send you more ads. And then I can also trace that all the way back to, my CRM.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And it's nuts. I can do that, but you can, and that's great. But the thing is, with the TV, with billboards, all that stuff, man, you can't. With the trucks, you can't. You can try, and you'll get some acknowledgement of, oh, yeah, I saw you on TV or whatever. But it's not going to, you'll never go, oh, look how many people said they saw me on TV. And oh man, that was worth it. You just have to understand that that type of branding has to run and play and be in front of people. One thing about a billboard is I know people are going to see it. There's no doubt about that people are going to see it. The great thing about TV and OTT is, and even Facebook videos and any kind of videos or TikTok, I get another dimension. So it's like I only can read the billboard and see the billboard, but I can with the looking and seeing and hearing, all those things are combined on TV, like kind of hitting as many senses as I can. I can tug your heartstrings on TV. I can't really tug your heartstring too much on a billboard, but I definitely can. I can show you what trust looks like. I can make you feel, I can make you laugh. I can make you feel emotion. So then that emotion ties into the actual thing. And so if I can get you these videos and whatever they are and get them in front of you, I could actually bring you into how we are as a company. You know, are we silly? Are we goofy? Are we serious? Are we a good deal? You know, can you trust us? I can get some of those emotions across in some of those videos. But that's what I think,
Well, what do you think is so as we went over time, our marketing budget as a percent to revenue dropped. We're heavy in the beginning, 18, maybe 20% sometimes as a percent to revenue. Yeah. And then we got all the way down to around 8% to revenue. So where in the life cycle of a company should they be if it's 5 million, 10 million, $20 million company?
I think what you do is before a year starts and you're budgeting, you go, okay, we spent 7% last year. And let's just say we're a $10 million company. So what, 10% would be $100,000.
Yeah.
But 7%.
Well, it's a $10 million company.
Is that right?
It's $1 million.
Okay, $1 million. Okay, so $1 million. Yeah. Well, we spent $700,000 last year, right? Because we were at 7.
Yeah.
We'll go, well, let's invest $300,000 back into the business, and next year let's do $1 million. And if we do 10 million again, I don't think that'll happen. But if we do 10 million again, then okay, we'll readjust. But I think that investment's solid because what we did is we put that 300,000 extra in to get to $1 million, and then our $10 million became a $13 million top line, and then our bottom ended up being 8 to 7%.
That's right.
And so that was kind of a truck. Now we'll tell you, it depends on what you're doing right now, and as expensive as things are, you may have to be more at a 12 or an 11% to see some growth. Mm-hmm. And you need to also understand that if you're going to put more in and plan to grow, that how are you going to grow? Well, I need more guys. Mm-hmm. So you need to go, okay, at what point in time will I need to add another guy, add another truck, and you kind of prep. So you plan for that. But I had a bunch of guys long time ago in Certain Path. They were called something else back then, so long ago. And they're all sitting around the table going, man, Jimmie, you're an idiot. How much do you make a year? I had a $10 million plumbing company, and they thought I should be making, 500, I don't know, whatever. And I go, I'll probably pull a couple hundred down. That's all I need. I pay my bills, get my stuff done. And they're going, well, man, you're just an idiot. And I'm like, what? He goes, man, you're doing all that work and doing all that stuff, and you're only pulling $200K out. And I go, and he goes, well, what do you do? And he goes, well, I take my money, I buy Taco Bells. I go, oh, really? He goes, yeah. And the other guy goes, well, I invest in my stock portfolio, blah, blah, blah. And I go, oh, okay. I said, so let's just talk about that. So you take your $1 out of your company, and that becomes, let's say, 65 cents, because you're probably making over 500. So it's probably 60 cents to 65 cents. Yeah. I go, how long before Taco Bell makes it $1 again? He goes, well, I don't know. Probably years. What about you with your stockbroker? 2 years at least? Yeah, for sure. I go, see, I'm taking the whole power of $1 that I don't need to take out. See, when someone says they're a billionaire, it's not that they have $1 billion in the bank. It's the value of their businesses and the things that they own, right, and their stocks and their land and everything else. It doesn't have to be the money that you have. It's the money you control. And I said, so what if I take my $1 and put the full dollar, not 60 cents, the full dollar back into my business, and then I create more value to the business? And they go, well, these companies aren't worth anything. I go, whoops, made a mistake there. They're basically the cash out of their business, and it can't grow. And it's like, yeah, you're pulling all this money out right now, But man, look at what if you'd have done that for 7 years? I mean, it would have probably quadrupled their money.
Yeah.
And so it's the idea of don't consider it like a gamble, like you're going to Las Vegas and let's bet my whole paycheck on red. Consider it like, hey,
investment.
It is a smart investment, and there's risk with investment, but I'm making a smart, intelligent investment. And when I do that with my dollars, then I can grow my business, because me going out and pulling that money out at a like lower rate, I can't use the full power of the dollar. And so I just I did what was business dumb. I invested in one stock. I did not diversify my portfolio by buying all these other stocks. I put everything back into the stock of Baker Brothers.
But you bet on yourself, though.
But I also know what's going on at Baker Brothers. And I know if we're doing good or bad or whatever, and I would know to start taking it out if I needed to. So I don't know if IBM, or that's really aging myself in it, or IBM, I don't know if Apple, let's say Apple or Google. I don't know what they're doing over there and what's happening over there.
Right.
But we are on the cusp of a huge change in marketing. Mm-hmm. We're at that spot where the newspaper and the yellow pages, we're at that part where that died.
Yep.
We are up against, PPC and LSA. I don't know what's going to happen. Literally,
Google just taking over.
Google, just like last week, came out and said there's going to be AI agents for Google that are going to go out and look for your plumbing company, your AC company, and your electrical company. Like you're going to kind of just give control of it and just go, hey, go find me somebody. Now I guess we'll see how that works out. But at some point, it's getting so automated that we really, man, it's like kind of the one. I think it's almost there. Before we kind of knew what was happening, this is like the sky's the limit. I don't think anyone can foresee the next 2 years of marketing. So you really need to make sure that you get some good people. Like there's like LMH is a good digital group. Vital Storm's a good group. Man, get someone who knows what's going on and is on the cusp, and ask them questions, man. If like you go ask Danny at LMH, dude, he'll tell you, man, you need to start putting more money in here. He's like your stockbroker for where to put your money in marketing. And he knows what's going to happen. He knows what's coming down the road. And you got to get those guys to come in, bring in stuff like that, and and start to really enhance what you're doing, because it's not where, I don't even think I right now am good at it compared to these guys. It's just so hard.
It's changed so much.
Oh, you can't keep up with everything, and people go, oh, I saw this on chat. I saw this on Quad, blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay, cool, man. I will say you can go in there and go, hey, what should I do? The best thing, but you're kind of leaving you don't know if all that's always right. Now, I think it's getting, as time goes, everything's getting better and better with the AI solutions. But you got to realize, if you can do it, can't I do it? So the other part is you got to be willing to do something that your competition's not willing to. And that was one of the big things in marketing that I always did, is always be willing to do something your competition's not. And the best ad you can put out there is one that goes, that's impossible. Like if I were to go, I can do a $68 a month AC unit, and your competition's going, there's no way that's impossible. Yeah. I go, but if you can figure out how to do it and be profitable, man, you got them all licked. So the idea is that we really have to get innovative, and we're really going to have to start getting out there, because all these guys right now, it's funny, there's the young bucks coming up, dude. They're doing good, man. They're selling their businesses, man. Everything's great. Mm-hmm. But I want to tell you, they're going to be the old bucks in about 5 years, because it is moving. It is the smartest group of people you ever knew, working 24/7 to get better. Mm-hmm. And just think exponentially how fast. We always thought it was fast when Windows came along and the internet came along, all that stuff came along. We thought, oh, it's the fastest in industry history. Our nothing's been this fast. It's crazy. It's going to get faster. It's so much faster now.
That's a snail's pace compared to what's happening right now.
Oh, yeah. Like what was happening back then with Apple and those guys, iPhone, all that, dude, that is going to be so slow compared to what happens in the future, because, right now, at my son's company, he should need like 8 developers. It's him and 8 AI agents that work 24/7 that are, by the way, as good as anybody out there.
Wow.
And he goes, so it's really incredible. We talked to a guy today that was a billionaire, and he basically said, man, he goes, I cut 97% of my workforce. And he goes, I go, what?
You don't know. We could be AI right now. This may not even be us talking.
It's not even a real conversation. Yeah.
But I think it's interesting because AI, man, you can create commercials in AI. You can do it, like you said, all your branding, all your stuff that we used to go to people. I did, we talked about Bill Robertson earlier. I said, I used to joke with you about, hey, can you get this to me in 5 minutes? I said, well, I don't even need you now because I can get it from all these AI programs in 5 minutes. And it's not the same, Bill, but it's
but
getting close.
But you got it. That's like Bill. I mean, when you're doing so, if you're out in the industry doing these things, man, you really got to think about reinventing yourself.
That's right.
And that's kind of what I said. It's like all the stuff that's the cutting edge things today, they're going to be antiquated probably within a year to year and a half. And almost anyone can do it. So when Tyler first got out of college and, kind of chat and all that stuff was just hitting the streets, he was like, yeah, there's a podcast out, I think probably maybe 2-3 years ago that said, hey, at some point we'll put a bot on our, companies and man, we'll write our own CRMs and do all that kind of stuff. And you're like, yeah, and he goes, yeah, Dad, that's probably 10 years from now. And then now he's like, maybe 2 years from now. That's right. I go, so even the young guys don't know how fast it is.
I wish we would have had it back then because all the crazy scenarios I try to put you in the TV commercials with Baker, like, how could we get Jimmie to say no? We never could get you to say no. We got you in a money suit. We got you karate fighting pipes. We had you doing all these X-ray vision things.
So for you guys that don't know, you can go on YouTube and hit Baker Brothers commercials, and I don't think they have all the ridiculous ones on there. They just have some of them. But there's stuff on there where it's cartoons, green screen. I'm riding the AC unit with a cowboy hat. It's a cartoon cowboy hat that's too small for my head, and I'm roping a bill because we're roping the bills with your new AC unit, and we're tying them up or whatever. And we're and the funny part was, my wife will look at that and she goes, I can't. And she goes, it come on TV, and she just look at me. She goes,
that's awesome.
I can't believe you did that. But I told the guys that. I said, guys, they start laughing. Man, that commercial where you had the cucumbers in your eyelid, whatever. I go, guys, I whore myself out for you to get calls. It's so terrible. I have no pride whatsoever. It's so bad. But
they were great.
But the idea of that, they're still as funny and goofy as those were. The idea was, and we can kind of get into the production mode of this and creativity mode of this. The idea of it is everybody was hitting TV. We had grown a lot.
Got to stand out.
Everybody was hitting TV. And now how do we stand out? Because what was happening, and guys, tell me if this is not your TV commercial. I'd love to see what yours is. Everyone, dude in the uniform, truck pulls up to the house, guy in the uniform's up talking to the customer's smiling, signing the thing. Maybe a picture of him working on so here's what happened. The pictures were all dudes with white uniforms, American flag, blue pants. I'm cleaning a carpet with a carpet cleaner.
Yep.
Same lady, same van, same house. Hey, I'm a guy with a screwdriver. I'm the guy working on the ceiling fan. There's the electrician guy. Oh, here's the plumber guy. He's turning the faucet on. Everybody has the same exact commercial. And I go, look, now all these contractors have just melded together where I can't even tell the difference between who's the carpet cleaner and who's the plumber, who's the electrician, who's the AC guy. So I was like, okay, so let's do this. How can we do something that's more creative, that stands out? And then, the big part was ours were funny, but the part was the joke was a pain point for a customer.
Yeah. Like
the bills thing. Like, your bills are too high. We'll wrangle your bills in.
Yeah.
You get a new AC unit, you're going to save a lot of money on electric. Yeah. So it was this thing of like, it was funny, but there was still a pain point we were solving. We were showing trust. We actually had, when you do creative with anybody, even if it's your agency, you need to say, okay, what is the overall thing that I want to convey here? Mm-hmm. Is it like ease of use? Is it fast? Is it savings? Is it efficiency? Is it value? What is it that you want to do? Timeliness, whatever it is. What we're trying to convey, and then you have to have everything kind of point to that thing. If it's like we're the fastest, I could make 10 commercials right now on being fast. You could do all kinds of stuff. And so what y'all need to understand is there needs to be a point to it, because the more there's a subtle point, it all points to the same direction. And there's another part too that we talked about with creative stuff. You gotta be sticky. Man, you have got to do something that just because like I say, if you don't stand out, so something has to stand in.
Well, you
in
mentioned
your
the
head.
cartoon character. You mentioned jingles. You mentioned the funny stuff that we did at Baker Brothers. That's sticky. That sticks in your head. And whether you're telling a story versus, hey, we do faucets, windows, all this other stuff. People don't remember that, but they remember that.
But there was always a consistent theme. Like I had this blue shirt that they said it was like my favorite shirt. It was kind of this baby blue shirt, and I loved it. Wore it all the time. Well, they were like, "Oh yeah, that shirt would be the best in the spots," and so I put that shirt on. I dressed exactly the same in every spot for a decade.
And Cartoon Jimmie does the same now, too.
Yes, he still has the blue shirt on. And if I went anywhere, it's funny, nobody recognized me around town if I had normal clothes on. But if I had a light blue shirt on, even if it wasn't that shirt, they go, "You're that dude in that commercial." And so that's kind of a pain. But if you're in your own spots, the reason I got on my own spots, I was not that dude. I did not want to be in them. But what happened was Harvard Business Review, owners and operators are more trustworthy in the spot than actors or sports people. So if you're the owner and operator, there's a dude that's responsible. There he is. And he seems like a good guy. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the dude who is responsible, and you're willing to put your face on, that basically says a lot too. I'm willing to put my face on this spot. So yeah, I'm part of the brand. So if you see me out and you had a bad experience, you walk right up to me and go, "Hey, y'all suck." And what was funny is we did a really good job because I didn't have very much of that. I didn't have anybody come up to me. I did have one guy one time, and it was a different company. I was laughing. I go, "That's not even our company. That's a different company." And he just got us confused. But it is true. But the sticky part is really important, like a tagline and so think of just think about all the things that impact you. When you're watching TV or whatever, what is it that impact you? Like, we have the Texas Hammer here, like the attorney. I mean, it's like he's really corny about, but people remember him. And I guarantee when people get wrecked, they go, "Man, I'm going to hire the Texas Hammer," and he goes,
I can't remember who it is, if it's Jim Adler or the other guy, but one of them's the Hammer.
But it's like you type in Texas Hammer, I guarantee it pops up.
True.
But we went through a bunch of variations, of that. And so we had a sing out that was, when we just did plumbing, and then it got weird. And then we had a plumber you could trust, which we sang. And then what was funny is somebody had copyrighted that, after the fact, and then sent us a thing, "Hey, you got to stop." So then we used great service because we're getting other services. So we basically saying, "Baker Brothers, great service." Every single ad, every single radio spot, every single video, every single anything we put out, that was going to be in there, and it got sticky. And what's funny is, were you there when they made the jingle, y'all's jingle?
What, our jingle?
Yeah.
Berkey's, we're there when you need us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mike Myers was a big part of that.
Yeah, so Mike Myers, so we went and used this one company. Mike Myers used a different company.
Yeah.
But I'll never remember the first time I heard it, I was like, it was that thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't like that, dude. It was like Berkey's. And you're like, "Oh, God." And then it was like, "We're there when you need us," and I'm like going, "Oh my gosh, that was like."
See, you remembered it. You got it down.
But I'm going to tell you, I think it's one of the best out there at this point right now.
Oh, wow.
Because I do remember it. I mean, it is funny. Like it's got a good thing. That little big part makes you pay attention, and then you listen to the rest of it. And it's a good thing to, "Hey, we're there when you need us," is a great line.
Yeah.
It is a really great line. So I think, people would come up to me all the time and go, "Great service." Like they just point at you, say it. They think it's funny. I go, but it says what you do. And then the thing was too, is we backed it up, man. Like, if you say, "Hey, I'm there when you need, we're there when you need us." That means you better be there all the time. And the same thing with us, man. If we don't provide great service, I mean, that's what they remember. And if you don't provide it, man, you're making a big mistake.
Yeah, because that can bite you, and it has. Nick Martinez, who deals with all of our customer service the departments, he's always talking about that. That tagline gets thrown back at us a lot. When people aren't happy, but then when we make it right, they say, "Okay." They understand it. But yeah, you can put yourself out there and say, "Great service," my foot, or whatever.
And, I'm telling you, every time you have a customer problem, they're going to throw it right back at you. But when you handle that problem, they're going to go, "Well, you're right." It's a good thing.
And what was the book about the stickiness?
Oh, yes, there's a book. It's called Made to Stick. It's Chip and Dan Heath.
Okay.
So that's a great book. And it's not really about, jingles and things. It's really about what you say. And let me look it up real quick. Basically, if you just want to take one takeaway from that book, it says people don't remember information. They remember ideas wrapped in emotion, simplicity, and stories. And it has a couple of examples. It says most companies say things like, we strive to provide exceptional customer service through integrity, professionalism, and excellence. Sounds great. I mean, we all hope to achieve that, right? Instead, if we leave so much as a footprint, we'll come back and clean it. And so it's really about.
That's a visual thing.
That's a visual.
Yeah.
I can picture that. I can see that. And so one of them, he says, like, eat healthy. He goes, movie theater popcorn, or it says what a concrete one would be. Movie theater popcorn contains more fat than bacon and eggs breakfast, a Big Mac, and a steak dinner combined.
I'm in trouble.
That means something to us. Like that all of a sudden that told a story to us that was concrete, that was relative to us. One of them was I think there was a plumbing one in here. Let me look it up. We provide superior plumbing solutions. Pretty common one. It says the plumber you trust with your house key. That tied into a level of trust. That means that we're so vetted that we background checked, drug tested. We don't have to put all that in. We're telling you, hey, we're so trustworthy that you give us your house key, so you'd let us in without you being there. So it's that kind of. I'd really highly. I mean, we talked about that. Pastor Steve Made to Stick. I would highly recommend you guys, if you don't read it, listen to it.
Yeah.
To get the Cliff Notes. We have. It's so competitive and things are changing so fast. We have to be the best. We have to pay attention to the words we say and how we say it, because they do matter. Just like when I read those, the words mattered in those sentences. It was what we said. And you need to make sure what you say to your customers makes a difference, and it's not just generic and, hey, here's a guy in a white thing, here's what happens. And I'll tell you, there's a thing that we always used in creativity that in trying to make a creative, you need, no matter, and this is the viral videos, whatever you see, it's like, you need a hook.
That's right.
I need to grab your attention and bring you to where I'm at. And even in yours, the hook is Berkey. You're like, whoa, what's that? I mean, you need to grab people's attention. And, you've all sat there and watched little viral videos. Sometimes they show something to the front that has nothing to do with the story.
That's right.
But I need to bring you in. And so our old one was, we go, how many people need a plumber right now on this radio station? We're like, well, I mean, probably a handful. How many people hate to wait on hot water? Probably everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, early morning drive, probably just took a shower. Hey, do you hate waiting 5 minutes for your hot water?
That's right.
Okay, I do, and now I'm listening.
Yep.
Now I tell you a story about what we have and the solution that we have to do that. The last thing, so it's hit them with a hook, hit them with a story, then call to action. And the story is a why, and then it's call to action. And it's like, okay, call now, and we can solve this problem for you. It's as simple as that. Mm-hmm. So if you use that simple formula, or just grade whatever video that someone did against that formula and go, are those in there? Mm-hmm. And if they're not in there, I think you need to do it. One other thing that you need to do when you're doing some creative, there's something, it's an old thing, and it's called rule of three. Now, I will argue, because we're so inundated with commercials and things that happen to us, it could be the rule of 7 now. I have no idea. But rule of 3 back.
Make sure these 3 are in.
Yeah, but the rule of 3, it said, psychology says that if I get introduced something 3 times, I'm more likely to remember it. I'm more likely to, get a little mind share from someone. So if whatever you want people to remember in your spot, you need to do it 3 times. So if you're going to have a Berkey spot, I would need the name 3 times in the spot.
Wait, let me clear that up. So the rule of 3 is not hook, story, call to action.
No, that's
something different.
That's
the rule
different.
of 3
rule
is
of 3 you incorporate into that.
Okay, all right.
Where I want to put my company name in there 3 times. I might want to put my website in there 3 times. Whatever I want you to pull away from this, I need to make sure I mention it 3 times. They actually used it in frequency numbers for like TV and radio. They would go, hey, you need a frequency of 3, meaning that I need you to see my ad 3 times during the segment, that you listen. And if I hit you 3 times, and then the more I do that, the more I exponentially can get your mind share. So the rule of 3 is not only just with doing your name or whatever you want in the actual spot, but I want you to see it 3 times too.
Yeah.
So think about billboards. So I think the biggest mistake in billboards people make is they put 1 up. Well, Buc-ee's is here local, so you guys in Texas know Buc-ee's, but everybody else may have an idea. But what Buc-ee's does, as you're driving down the highway, you're going to see it 5, 6, 7 times before you get to the Buc-ee's.
That's right.
And so it's the repetitiveness of that, and they always have the Buc-ee's is always the same little logo. It's this little beaver looking cartoon thing. Look at my kid drew it, but they just keep showing it. But they put different little sayings up there that are real weird. And if you put someone on a billboard that's weird, people go, "What's that?" The other part about billboards, same thing as a truck, they put too much junk on it. They start putting what I do and how I do it, and then next thing you know, you go, do you ever, I don't know if you've done that, I do this all the time on billboards. I'll go, this billboard looks great on the computer. They'll put it up and I go, oh God, it's like an encyclopedia.
It's too much
stuff. You can't do that. I go, so, I mean, there was a great, Christian one a long time ago that I am second. Nathan Sheets, I think he was a part of that back then. I knew Nathan. And basically it just said, iamsecond.com. That's all it said. And you're driving down the road and you're like, what is that? How many people they hit their website like crazy because it didn't tell you even what it was. It did. That is the name of the organization. Yeah. But man, it was just video after video of people that were talking about their experience and how their witness story about how they became Christian. And so it was just really cool. But you got to understand, I got to create intrigue. I got to create just this. If I had 3 billboards in a row on a stretch of road that was like, 5 miles long, I would buy that 110% all day long. And we did at Baker Brothers just as I was leaving. And we literally heat mapped it to see in those areas where we had the multiple billboards, did we actually get more work? And in 1 year, 110% did great with it. Yeah. So it's like we got to start doing, you got to do things. Oh yeah, by the way, digital billboards, I'm out on that.
I know, you've always been out on that.
There's 8 people on the billboard. So that means
I
need to get 8 billboards. I get to get 8 of those digital for 1 stagnant. I mean, that's the truth. Now, you can change them fast, but, I mean, the made to stick thing, I mean, you reading that's important, but, man, you have got to pay attention to your creative, pay attention to your emails, pay attention to the mailers you do. Don't just stagnate, put out what everybody else puts out. If you put out what everybody else is, you're going to get what everybody else gets. You have to end up figuring out a way to be special and be different and be noticed. And there's guys that are out there just doing goofy stuff, like having their guys dance and sing and do all kinds of stuff. But, people stop and watch it because it's silly and they actually pay attention to it. So we really have got to figure out that way to really differentiate ourselves, and I think website is probably one of the places people do the poorest job. Because sometimes we do that, 10 years ago, we don't look at it again. It is the most front-facing thing of our business.
Especially on this phone.
Right? Oh, yeah. And then that's the other mistake. And that mistake's been made on how many times where they're looking at it on the big screen and like, on a desktop. And they don't look at it and you don't look at it on your phone. The phone is where the people are going. It's 85% and it's just climbing. Yeah. The other part too is there's the new thing out there now that people are kind of getting a whiff of is, they call it AEO and GEO, which is basically the SEO of AI. Yeah. It's basically, hey, chat, you who's the best plumber, stuff like that. I mean, chat is taken off so much. Claude's taken off a lot that you have to realize, dude, my wife and daughter who aren't computer people, chat is their best friend. If they get anxious, they talk to chat. The other day, she goes, I said something, and she goes, she told me this. I go, what do you mean she? Chat. And I go, okay. So
what do you call chat? Do you give yours a name?
I don't. I just I put in there, I put that, that thing where they make an image and go, hey, chat, how do I use you? And it was like almost like a sweatshop slave driver. And he goes, at 3 of the board, you're asking me, hey, can you make a logo for me for something? And I go, but it is funny. I mean, it's really changing. And man, just to be honest, man, we're at this evolution of marketing that we got to be paying attention to and leaning into, and we need to, and we'll have some. I think it's just almost we have to if we're going to do a business thing. Yeah. That we really have to talk about bringing some guys in that can speak to it and can talk more about it. There's Eric that's a really good friend of mine at Phase Wheel. He's a pretty new company, and he's doing the AEO, GEO, and he goes, this is the only time in the history we can see we can actually see the questions they're asking.
Yeah, and you got Pawan at Peaksy doing
I forgot Pawan too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Pawan, and you're gonna probably beat me up.
Yeah.
But Pawan's doing some stuff, the same stuff, and he's got some things that are really good. He's got recruiting tools. He's got how your company's ranked among everyone. It is amazing. Like I looked at it all the time, and I graded how good we were on the results from Pawan, and what the direct correlation was, like how we were the best. If we were the best on our review platform, which is Pawan's old business, which is PulseM, when we were the best on that review platform, we were the best in DFW. So it definitely, there's so many great tools out there. Peaksy's definitely one of them.
Yeah, and then you have all these tools that give you all this data, and then you got to digest the data and make good decisions. I think the key thing is to not knee-jerk. Don't overreact. You said earlier, when you do something, you got to give it 3 months before you can see if it's really effective or not. And in this attention span deficit culture we live in, we're like, oh, that didn't work. Let's move over here. Let's move over here.
Well, if you hire a marketing director, or do something like that, man, understand there's a huge difference in someone who's B2B and someone who's B2C.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing that because I was really great B2C marketer, but as I come in here to, recreate and help them out, I realized that that's not the same thing, B2B. It's
different world.
It is not. It's just a completely different, thing. And don't go hire a B2B guy to come do your B2C business. Don't not hire them. Understand that they need anybody who comes from marketing.
Yeah.
What if I came from marketing and I was, I did sports tickets? Well, that's not the same thing as a need-based business like ours. I mean, like I want to go buy a sports ticket. I don't necessarily want someone to come fix my toilet.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's broken, but I don't like that. And so it's like, man, make sure that when you get someone, like they come from that industry, that you have an onboarding process that lets them learn the industry. Yeah. And like,
it's more complicated than people think it is, this industry. They think, oh, it's plumbing, it's electrical, it's HVAC. No, it's way more complicated because not just competitive, but you have to understand the mind of a consumer at their time of need, and how do I stay top of mind so when they need me, they call me.
Exactly. And so understand that you're thinking about plumbing, AC, and electric, and cleaning trash cans and garage doors and all that stuff 24/7. Understand they're not.
That's right.
And it's like they're just living their life, and you just happen to be this little chirp that's happening over on the side. And if you could be kind of entertaining, they're going to pay more attention to you. And then what happens is all of a sudden there's a need. I know who to put in my phone to go get. And I'll be honest, like the best defense of this whole thing is to brand yourself so well that you can end around Google a little bit, that you can do that. And I think that's one of the best things, because however you could do it to where people don't go to their computer or go to chat or whatever to get you is probably going to be the best defense against, I'm not really sure about this. So,
it's been a lot we talked about today, and I know there's got to be some stuff out there that you guys can take and apply to your businesses. If you're starting a business and trying to figure out what to do with logo, here's something you need to understand. Everyone has an opinion when it comes to creative. Yeah. Oh, we should do this. Oh, we should do that. Oh, we should do this. And really it's cutting through all that and going out and trying the things that are tried and true, but also taking some risks and doing things and maybe going where no one's gone before. Because what you said, we had people calling us thinking they were calling Milestone because our commercials played back to back. It was Milestone, it was Baker. And then all of a sudden there's 8 different companies in the same commercial block doing the same thing we are. So how do we stand out? With Baker, we did the funny stuff. With Berkey's, we tried the funny stuff. That didn't resonate with our customers, so we're pivoting. I'm very excited about what we're doing. I don't want to say about what it is, but we are taking a risk with it. And everybody has an opinion on it, right? And so we'll see if it works or not.
Well, what we typically do is we come up with a creative set, and then we walk around the office to like the people that are in the call center and dispatch who have basically no expertise whatsoever, and go, what do you think about this one?
Yeah.
I like that one. Like I said, I was over there doing some creative, and I used chat, and I showed something, and the girl goes, I don't really like that because it's, I go, well, it's yellow. And I go, well, do you own a yellow car? No. I go, she goes, oh, I would remember that. That's the litmus test.
And there you go.
I would remember that. Not that I like it, not that it's kind of cool. It's that I remember that. And this guy from Safe Electric is up north, and he's in Certain Path. Matt, he's great. And basically he came up to me one day, and man, this really cool thing he'd been working on his truck. And it looked like this old retro kind of, milk truck, cream white, with this red, bottom stripe. It had these moon caps on it, the old, cap. I mean, I don't know where he's going to get those dang things, but he was going to have to go get, hubcaps. And he's had this retro look that was really cool. And I was like, man, that is cool. I will tell you this. What I did know is a cream colored truck rolling down the road wasn't going to get noticed.
Right.
And I said, who's the best in the electrical department in a certain path? And he goes, well, it's Milestone. Do you know yellow and red is the most used in advertising? It's the most noticed 2 colors.
Yeah.
And he goes, huh? And I go, I would just make yellow and red trucks. I mean, dude, do you think if you literally copy Gus, as long as you don't put Milestone on there, he's not going to drive up to, Indiana and put a cease and desist on you because he doesn't own red and yellow. I said, just put the most successful person, copy them, and just do what they do to a point.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, don't reinvent the wheel. I mean, and he did. And dude, he came back. He's like, oh my gosh, dude, we're blowing up. He goes, man, everybody's talking about those trucks. I go, yeah, because red and yellow together are kind of ugly, to be honest. Like
McDonald's, Wendy's.
But I mean, I'm not going to wear a yellow shirt and red
Hulk
pants.
Hogan did.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan was red and yellow.
And he was advertising. It was advertising. That was not normal. I mean, if I wore wrestling outfits around, everybody would be like, you're really weird. But
that's what we should have done in the commercial. We should have put you in a wrestling outfit.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. But anyway, I really think, guys, this is really important. I think really man, pick this apart if you want, man. Put comments out there if you disagree. That's cool. But it is one of the most important things that we have to be paying attention to in home services right now is, hey, how do we differentiate ourselves? How do we grab that mind share? And if we're not doing it, you're making a huge mistake. Yeah. Because you can go out there and be the best dude ever and no one can remember your name. It's the way it is. Yeah. Like, oh man, they were great. Do you remember who they were? Nope, I don't remember who they were. And that's a problem because they could be telling their friends, oh yeah, it was Baker. Oh, it was Berkey's. Oh, it was whoever. They need to remember the name of the company so that they can tell other people when you ask them and they go, well, Joe, there's a lot of Joes in Dallas and that's not going to help you at all. You got to put yourself out there and get it done.
No, and look, a lot of stuff to take away from this episode. And look, you're the right guy to talk marketing. You've been doing it for a long time, and I appreciate you teaching me about it. But next episode, you mentioned Certain Path, right? Yeah. So we will have Rebecca Castle.
Oh, yes.
On the next episode, and we're very excited about that.
I mean, I think she may be the queen of home services now. I don't know. She's got a streaming thing, the little TV thing.
We can put that in AI and get her a logo, right?
Oh, yeah. It'd be amazing. But no, I mean, Rebecca's great, and we're really excited about it. She's a brilliant lady. I mean, probably I invested with her on some stuff, and it was probably some of the best investments I've ever done outside of Baker Brothers. So yeah, we always had a lot of respect for her and her organization, and man, I'm really excited about it. So hopefully we'll. Yeah,
and I'm excited to have that episode. I think maybe we should start taking questions from the people that watch this, right? Maybe, what's our email? What is it? It's Kingdom Method Podcast or Kingdom What? I got to get the email right before I give it to you. Do you have it?
I know it's .com. I was kidding.
It's really long. Kingdom Method Podcast at gmail.com. Kingdom Method Podcast at gmail.com. Send your questions.
Or you could actually just like put some comments in and we'll read them and we'll do that. That might be the easiest for you, that you don't have to do that. But anyway, man, we really appreciate you guys that are listening. And man, please, encourage us with comments, things that you guys want to know. If there's something about marketing, we're going to have some more marketing. It's so important that I think we're going to be revisiting this quite a bit with some guests. For sure. But I mean, man, if you have some questions or have some things, man, put them in there. Like we'll do whatever we can to help you out or direct you to the right people. But man, I mentioned a lot of company names out there today. Man, they're all great. There's plenty more out there. They're just a handful of some of the better ones. And I'll be honest, some of them are so busy. But I was doing something with one of them, and it was like, oh, yeah, we can do that in 3 months. I'm like, dude, I kind of need it like yesterday, so that's not going to be good. But, yeah, just hang in there, guys. I mean, like I said, it's been tough, but, man, you just need to just keep chugging away and, man, have faith. And, we'll do anything we can to help you guys. Thanks a lot.
Here's one thing I got to say. We did a whole marketing episode and didn't bring up the robot, so –
yes,
that's an inside joke. So
we'll talk about that later.
Those who know. But thank you for being a part of this one. We'll see you next time.